Adi. Yasuranandana Brajajana Ranjana Yamunatira Banachari Yamunatira Banachari Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Bol, Hare Bol, Hare Bol, Nitai Gaur, Hare Bol, Nitai Gaur. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. So Hare Krishna. Thank you for coming. So my name is Prithu Das. I joined ISKCON 1972, long time, 51 years back. And I've talked with Srila Prabhupada many times. In fact, I had to be with Srila Prabhupada in his last 3 weeks of his life. And I could talk about that, but I won't. I'm tied to a verse. There's a lot of Prabhupada said this and Prabhupada said that. And it's quite interesting experiences I had with His Divine Grace over, over 5.5 years in Europe and in India. But so let me stick to this verse that we have of today from Srimad Bhagavad Gita. Namely, dātavyam iti yad dānaṁ dīyate nupakāriṇe, deśe, kāle, pātre, dānam, sāttvikam, smṛtam. Let's go to the text. Charity, giving out of duty without expectation of return, at the proper time and place, and to a worthy person is considered to be charity in the mode of goodness. Purport. In Vedic literature, charity given to a person engaged in spiritual activities is recommended. There's no recommendation for giving charity indiscriminately. Spiritual perfection is always a consideration. Therefore, charity is recommended to give at a place of pilgrimage and at lunar or solar eclipses, or at the end of the month, or to qualified brāhmaṇa or Vaiṣṇava devotee, or in the temple. Such charities should be given without any consideration of return. Charity to the poor is sometimes given out of compassion, but if a poor man is not worthy giving charity to, then there is no spiritual advancement. In other words, indiscriminate charity is not recommended in Vedic literatures. Om ajñāntimidandasya gunanjana shalakaya chakshurumnitam yena tasmai Sri Gurave Namah. Sri Chaitanya manobhishtam stapitam yena bhutale svayam rupa kadamayam dadati swapadantikam. Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Sri Vasari Gaura Bhaktavinda. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Ram. So it is quite significant that even charity is defined. In Vedic scriptures, everything is defined. In Asuric society, nothing is defined. Everybody according to his idea. That's the Asuric society. Everybody does what he wants. I'm free, I do what I want, and I do it my way. That is the underlying, how do you say, modus vivendi, like they say in Latin, the underlying lifestyle of the material world. But that is exactly what brought us into the material world itself. I come from a biblical tradition, and so in the beginning, it says in the Bible, there was Adam and Eve, and they were not to eat from a forbidden tree. And they did it because the snake came and said, if you eat from this tree, you become as good as God. And so that's precisely the reason why we are here in the material world. That we try to become independent, we try to be as good as God. And so when we are here in the material world, we start our different God projects. This God project or that God project, being the Lord over the family, being the Lord over a country, being the Lord over a company, being the Lord over a school, wherever. This desire is there to be the supreme controller. I do it my way. And so this mentality does not entangled us in the material world since time immemorial, and this mentality will not allow us to advance even an inch in Krishna consciousness. Because in Krishna consciousness, we try to do it not our way, we try to do it Krishna's way. Like Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, and all activities depend on me and work under my protection. In such devotional service, you become conscious of me. That's the precise instruction of Krishna. Rather than to become independent, to become dependent on Krishna. My dear Krishna, what you want me to do, that is the question. Not what I want to do. We have to ask ourselves this question. What can I do for Krishna? What does Krishna want me to do? Krishna has a perfect plan for each and every one of us. 100%. And so we have to find what that place is, what Krishna wants us to be. In the material world or in the spiritual world. I saw the other day, a week ago, in front of Radha Madhava, Radhisham, there's so many devotees always standing, and I asked one of these little girls, she was a young girl, she was not initiated, she was not dressed properly, she was from the West, and her hair was matted, she didn't look very properly dressed in front of the deity. And I asked her, I said, Mataji, what are you praying for? And she said, I pray to Krishna to become a gopi in Vrindavan. All our acharyas, they want to be an atom at the lotus feet. They want to be a blade of grass in Vrindavan. Nobody of them desires such a high position, the highest position actually as a jiva. But people in the West particularly are so untrained that they do whatever they want. Like Prabhupada gave so many instructions in so many different ways how to do things. But the tendency is to do our own thing. When Prabhupada left the body, I had been in this room for 3 weeks flat, practically speaking. He wanted some medicines. And he asked his servant, please can you give me some medicine? That was a day or two before he left. And so the servant gave him medicine, and Prabhupada asked, did you close the bottle? And I thought, why is this so important? He said, no, it was very important, Prabhupada. Did you close the bottle? He said, no, Prabhupada, I forgot. And Prabhupada said, that is your disease, all of you. You know how to open bottles, you don't know how to close them. You start so many new things, and you don't see the consequences. This is how religion deteriorates, by opening bottles. I mean, Christianity is really, I studied Christianity before I went to college. I studied comparative religion. We have Krishna West, Christianity is Jesus West. From the first generation on, they started speculating and developed a whole theology that has absolutely nothing to do with the original simple teachings of the Acharya. So this idea of concocting that's all-pervading. Like Prabhupada wanted us to look in a particular way when how we dress, what sika even we have. There is no such a thing like we see sometimes. There is no such a thing in Vaishnavism. So there is so much concoction. It is, basically speaking, this old desire to be independent, to do whatever we want. But that's not what Krishna, if we want to have access to the spiritual world, we have to play the game according to Krishna's desire. Not to our desire, what I like to do. I like to do this, I like to do that, I want to go here, I want to go there, I want to do so many things. That's okay, but it will not bring you to the spiritual world. This puffed up, arrogant mentality that I can do whatever I want. That doesn't bring us to the spiritual world. Only by undivided devotion and service, Krishna said, can I be understood. Arjuna also, he said, he wanted to do his own thing. He didn't want to fight on the battlefield. And Krishna said, how can these impurities come upon you? Not to fight. Because as a Kshatriya, you have your duties. There's a designed prescription for the duty of a Kshatriya. Arjuna didn't want to fight with his relatives because he was sentimental. He was thinking compassion for his relatives. But think about this. If you are a policeman, in modern terms, and you see your uncle breaks into a shop, if you look away and say, well, he's my uncle, I can't do anything, the chief of the police will tell me, how can these impurities come upon you? Who knows the value of the rules and regulation of a policeman? You have to arrest your uncle, right? So Arjuna didn't want to do it. That's why Krishna says, how can these impurities come upon you? They don't befit a person who knows the higher values of life. Precisely that's the situation. And so then Arjuna ultimately, after hearing Krishna's logic, reason, argument, he said, Shishyasthaham shadumam tvampapanam. Yes, now I'm disciple, surrender unto you. You tell me what to do. That's the mentality. You tell me what to do. I mean, I will never forget when Prabhupada installed our deities here in Vrindavan. He said that now your problems are solved. You go to the Lord Nityananda and you ask him, what shall I do? And he will help you. He said, don't go to Radha Krishna. You know, Radha Shyam, they are involved in their transcendental lila, in their bhav. If Krishna would speak to us, Radha Shyam, Krishna would speak to us, he said, listen, my dear friend, I particularly came for you in this age as Lord Chaitanya. I came for you. Why are you bothering me? Right? He came particularly to give Krishna prema padayate. The prem to Krishna is given by Lord Chaitanya. Namo varanyaya Krishna prema padayate. That's our philosophy. Yet in front of Lord Chaitanya there are 3 people standing. In front of Krishna Balaram there are 5 people. And 150,000 people stand in front of Radha Shyam. That's philosophically completely incorrect. That's not our understanding. Our understanding is that we are saved by Gaunitai, and especially by Lord Nityananda. That is our philosophy. So we have to ask Krishna, what do you want me to do, not what I want to do. Like this girl, she wants to be a gopi in the spiritual world. What about Krishna? How does he feel about it? His feelings are irrelevant. He's the Supreme Lord. I want to be this, I want to be that. This doesn't count in the spiritual world. We will not progress 1 inch with this mentality of being unsurrendered, of having conceptions in our mind. What I want to do, how I want to serve Krishna. This is not working. So we have to see that in Vedic literature, everything is very carefully described. There's prescribed duty. Bhagavad Gita is full of prescribed duties. They're prescribed. It's not that we can make up our own duties. There's a duty for a father. There's a duty for a mother. There's a duty for a son. There's a duty for a kshatriya, a brāhmaṇa, a vaishya. For everybody there's duty. And if you look at Bhagavad Gita, there are about 100 verses that talk about duty. So important it is to fulfill one's duty. Krishna says even it's better to do your own duty imperfectly than somebody else's duty perfectly. So in traditional society, the duties of a mother are revealed to the girl by the example of the mother. She has a role model. She knows how to be a wife. Because she sees in traditional society, my mother acted like this, and my father acted like that. The boy has a role model in his father. In this way, the tradition is handed down from generation to generation. And that's why traditional society works. Non-traditional society, if the wife wants to be with the man in the house, that doesn't work. That marriage will break 100%. And that's what we see now coming into India via Hollywood and Bollywood into the modern Indian society. Divorce is at the ramp. So many divorces, so many broken families. The whole society disintegrates because everybody thinks he can do what he wants. Everybody thinks he can live according to his own life and makes condition to Krishna. But Krishna is not like that. We have to play his game. We have to live according to his likings. And we have to ask ourselves accordingly, what can I do for Krishna? Not what can he do for me? Which is a general attitude. You know, Narottam Das Thakur, he sings in one of the prayers, he said, people are saying, who is this Nityananda? What can he do for me? That's the unsurrendered mentality. What can he do for me? Not what he can do for me, what I can do for Lord Nityananda. That is the point. That's the point. We progress when we put our own desires last. First, what does Krishna desire? What can I do for him? How can I please Krishna? And this is all here in these verses becomes clear, you know, that charity is given to people who follow in that mood, who want to serve Krishna, who have no conditions, unconditional service to Krishna. That is the idea. And in the mode of passion is unconditional service. It's conditional service. I want to do something for Krishna because I want something from Krishna. In the mode of ignorance, we are completely out of the guidance. And we give charity to whoever we like. We see some drunk, we give him money. What will he do? He buys alcohol. So therefore, you see, even down to detail, What people, particularly in the West, don't understand, that everything is based on prescribed duty. There's prescribed. Our whole way of life is prescribed for people who are in the material world. And what truth is and what not truth is not up to us to decide. Truth is truth. And in a Vedic society, everybody has his place. Men have their place, women have their place, fathers have their place, mothers have their place, children have their place. Everything has its place as designed by God. Dharman hi sakshat bhagavan pranitam. Religion is made by God and not by common man. So in the same way, thou shalt not kill, that we, according to Vedic scriptures, the animals are souls as we are, souls that have taken different bodies. We are not allowed to kill innocent animals. But in the Western world, trillions of animals, trillions are killed every single day. And it's just a question of time till the hard law of karma will strike all these things down. Because you cannot expect good fortune in a society that is based on killing other living entities. So it is so important to hear shrotyam brahmanishtam. We get knowledge by hearing at somebody who is brahmanishta, who is situated in truth. The first two ways of knowing, Srila Jiva Goswami describes there's three ways of knowing. One is by practical experience. That's one way, through sensual perception. And it's rejected. The other one is to depend on scientific investigation, logic, reason, argument, rejected in Vedic scriptures. The only way to know what is truth and what is not truth is to hear Shastra, Guru, Shastra, and Sadhu. That's the way how we can learn. Everything else is rejected as being insignificant and 100% doomed on the path of perfection. 100% doomed. Therefore, Srila Prabhupada came and he said, in this example I gave, that you know how to open bottles, you don't know how to close them, you start so many new things. And you don't see the consequences. I mean, if you study the present state of society, or the environment even, the rivers are polluted, oceans are polluted, the air is polluted, the ocean is polluted, the food is polluted, our bodies are polluted, everything is polluted. Why? Opening bottles, opening this bottle, try out this one, that one invention after the other. And every one of these inventions causes havoc. Because it's not mankind how it's designed to be, living a God-conscious life, based on God, on His instructions according to Bhagavad Gita and Vedic scriptures, but based on what I think would be good. I want to do this, I want to do that, I want to go here, I want to go there. That's mundane society. And it's collapsing, left and right. We will see the whole, Prabhupada told us when was it? In 1973, Prabhupada said in 50 years this civilization will be finished. 50 years. 50 years from 73 is 23. And you see, this is a very different, dangerous time we are living right now. Any moment, somebody can push a button. Any moment, the whole Western world can disappear into dust. Because of this mentality of not obedient to Krishna. And so many living entities are killed every day. How long Krishna is going to tolerate it? How long? It's just a matter of time till the hard rain will fall. It's just a matter of time because of this disobedience of the living entity. Incapable of listening to Krishna, incapable to listen to the sages, incapable to listen to Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam. Completely incapable. And unwilling to listen, unwilling to learn. Prabhupada gave the example, there were two men fighting, what is better to cut paper, a scissors or a knife. So two Bengali men, Mr. Chatterjee and Mr. Mukherjee were fighting. That's his argument, what is better? So finally Mr. Chatterjee took Mr. Mukherjee and drowned him in the Ganges, put him underwater, And out of the water came the hand of Mukherjee while he was dying. He said, scissors is better. You see, this is called stubborn. Mankind is a stubborn breed. We are very stubborn. Unless we become malleable, unless we turn to Guru, Shastra and Sadhu and live a life as given by Srila Prabhupada. Prabhupada gave us so many things to do, and we didn't do it. And consequently we are suffering in so many different ways. This problem, that problem, that problem is basically because we don't understand that Prabhupada he's not dead yet. He's here. He reasons ill who think that Vaiṣṇava die whilst he's living still in sound. One of our sannyasis, Chandramoli Maharaj, he reads every day Prabhupada's books very carefully, loud. And he told me one day he was reading and he looked up, the atmosphere had changed. And then Prabhupada would continue reading the purport where he had stopped reading for about 5-6 minutes. And then the voice ebbed away. So Prabhupada is here. No doubt about it. He's there, present in sound and as a person. But in the absence of Srila Prabhupada, what is the saying? When the cat is away, the mice will play. Right? When the cat is away, the mice will play. So then all kinds of ideas come up. We should do this, we should do that. This invention, this concoction, that concoction. And all this will not last because it is not sat, it is asat. It will not last. It's just a matter of time. People come and go. Their ideas die with the people. But the one thing stays, and that is the truth. Satyam eva dīyate, it says in India. The truth will remain. And the truth is spoken by Krishna. Whatever Krishna says is final. Whatever the spiritual master says is final. No other opinion is allowed, actually. That's the point. No other opinion should be allowed than what we have heard from our Guru Maharaj, from Srila Prabhupada. And if we follow this path as given by Srila Prabhupada, we are very safe. We are very safe. And if we go our own way and do things that we like to do, well, welcome to heaven. We may go to Swarga. We may go to some heavenly planet because we did some puja, some pious activity. But the pious activity is not enough to satisfy Krishna. Pious activity, there's always a thought in the back of my mind, what can I get from him? So I perform this tapasya and that tapasya to get something from Krishna. So that brings us maybe to heaven, but if we want to go to Goloka, if we want to go to the spiritual world, in the spiritual world, the lifestyle of the citizens of the spiritual world is everybody does God's will. What God wants us to do, that we do. Nobody argues with Krishna in the spiritual world. They do exactly what he likes them to do, and therefore there's peace and harmony because there's oneness in authority. That's the point. If there's one authority, then there's oneness. If there are many authorities, there will be division. There will be fighting and argument and so many things. And so many ideas come up. You know, and Krishna, we see this in Krishna book. The coward boys didn't argue with Aghasura. They didn't try even to kill Aghasura. They just cried, Krishna, 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 help us. And Krishna would kill. That's the attitude. The dependency on Krishna is the glory of a devotee. Prabhupada was completely dependent on Krishna. He went to America, 2 heart attacks, even on the ship. And he was completely, he said, my dear Lord, how I'm here, I don't know what to do. You make me dance. You have brought me here, there must be some reason. Make me dance, make me dance, make me dance. And the movement became hugely successful because Prabhupada was dependent on Krishna. And this dependency brought to him the power of Krishna, Krishna Shakti, Vinanata Pravartana, because he was so surrendered. Krishna empowered him in so many ways to create this huge movement with thousands and thousands of people. Gigantic temple in Mayapur, this is all Krishna Shakti, the power of Krishna that was given to Srila Prabhupada because he didn't abuse Krishna's blessings. He sacrificed everything in Krishna's service. That's why Prabhupada became such a powerful acharya, because he completely depended on Krishna. As Krishna said, in all activities depend on me, work under my protection. In such devotional service you will become conscious of me. That's the point, you become conscious of Krishna. If you become conscious of me, Krishna says, Matsita Sarva Durgani, then we can cross over all difficulties of material life by my grace. If you do not act in this consciousness, but act in false ego, not hearing me, that I want to do my own thing, you will be lost. It's right in Bhagavad Gita, in the 18th chapter. The whole thing is that we have to become malleable. Malleable to Prabhupada, malleable to our spiritual master, malleable to Krishna's will. The will of God should be done, not my will, your will, or anybody else's will. What God says is important, not my opinion, your opinion, or anybody's opinion. There's a verse in Chaitanya Charitamrita where Krishna's Kaviraj said that even a child can cross the ocean of opinions about the absolute truth. Their opinions, this religious organization, that religious conception, these are opinions. There's an ocean which is full of the crocodiles of the various kinds of theologies. That's a verse in the Chaitanya Charitamrita. So we don't care for opinion. We care for what Prabhupada told us. We care for what's in Shastra. Guru, Shastra, and what is told us by sadhus, by people who are impeccable. That is the idea. We don't have to do anything else, because listening to the sages and follow their instructions. We don't have to, if you're in trouble in the forest, you don't know where to go, what do? You have to wait till the sun rises. Then everything is very clear. So Krishna Sama, Krishna is like the sunshine. Maya haya andakar. Maya is like darkness. Wherever there is sunshine, there is no question of darkness. The whole idea is we have to find light in Krishna, light in Bhagavad Gita, light in Srimad Bhagavatam, to enlighten us with knowledge, so that we do the right thing, that we actually become surrendered soul, and in this way become qualified to enter the spiritual world. That is the whole message of Bhagavad Gita. Krishna, initially Arjuna wanted to do his own thing, he had his own ideas, but then he surrendered to Krishna, and then Krishna gave him everything, he showed him everything. Because he was a disciple of Krishna. He became that's what it means, disciple. Disciple means discipline. So Prabhupada told us right there, you know how to open bottles, you don't know how to close them, you start so many new things, and you don't see the consequences. You don't know how to live, and you don't know how to die. You know how to live, but you don't know how to die, and therefore I have to show you. And then he called Yaduba Prabhu to make the film, The Final Lesson. You have seen that film, right? There's a film of Prabhupada leaving his body, because Prabhupada was surrendered, and the last thing he said, Hare Krishna. Before Prabhupada said that, the last words, you may not know, I was there. He said everything moving and last thing, he was already making this noise, as you described as guru in Vedic scripture. Anybody has seen anybody die, he knows this is the time he's going to leave, right? That's the noise people make when they die. So in the middle of it, Prabhupada lifted his hand very peacefully. It was not even trembling a bit. And he said, everything moving and non-moving, there's nothing but Krishna. This consciousness is called Krishna consciousness. As it says in scripture, Yomam pashyati savatra savam samam pashyati tasyam na pranashyami satramina pranashyati. One who sees me everywhere and sees everything in me, I'm never lost to him, nor is he ever lost to me. That's the verse right there. And then the last thing Srila Prabhupada said, Hare Krishna. And before he even could utter Na, he was gone. He had gone back. And so he showed us how to be so surrendered to Krishna up to the last moment. He saw Krishna everywhere, saying that Krishna consciousness, what it means, defining Krishna consciousness for us as seeing Krishna everywhere and everything in Krishna. Having no material concepts, no ego, False ego is what keeps us in the material world. And the whole world is full of false ego. So we have to get out of this fault, eating from the forbidden tree, namely to be as good as Krishna, and take the humble position and say, let me be the dāsa, 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 anudāsa, as exemplified by Lord Chaitanya himself. He said, I'm not interested in my personal happiness, I want only Krishna's happiness. And if it would make Krishna happy to put me in distress, then this distress is the greatest of my happiness. That's what he said. He gives his example of surrender. So please, Prabhus and ladies, let us consider this, that here's the message that Prabhupada gave us, exemplified in his own life. He was obedient to Krishna up to the last moment. And we have seen so many types of disobedience, where people do whatever they want in Krishna consciousness, and the result is always disastrous. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. If you have any questions, I'll be glad to answer. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.